Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Canon Chatter TV and another episode of the Rumour Mill with me, your host, Stephen, and I am joined tonight by our ever-present Lottie. Hello. I say ever-present, we did give you a week off last week for the first time since you joined the team. How are you, Lottie?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm just stressed out from work, but I'm glad to be here. Got my tickets for Sunday, which I can't wait, and I'm up in the North Bank on Sunday, which is very exciting.
Brilliant.
But how are you?
Yeah, do you know what? I'm good. I'm really good. I had a nice week break. We were away. Me and the wife and the kids went over to Drayton Manor for a few days, as you obviously know. And we had an absolute ball. The kids just loved being on the roller coasters. It's quite eye-opening when your 4-year-old and your 10 or your 6-year-old are less afraid of rides than you are. You know, I'm hanging on there with the knuckles going white on the railings, and my 4-year-old sitting beside me going, ah, you know, it's yeah, it was good. But do you know what? We really needed the break after the last year and a bit. So it was nice to get away. Although we weren't back then until 2:30 on Monday morning. Which is why, just to let people know, there was no Rumour Mill last night, just for a couple of reasons. One was I wasn't back until the early hours, and G was supposed to do all the prep and stuff, and he was going to host last night, and I was just going to be more like a guest appearance. But unfortunately, G has come down with a bout of the lurgy, or COVID, as people commonly know it. So you know what, G needs his rest, and to us that's far more important than doing this show. So if G is watching, G, get well soon, mate. I know you are starting to feel a bit better. You had a bit of a tired weekend there, but hopefully you'll feel better soon. So with that in mind, we just felt it was better to postpone last night and do it tonight so that G could rest and I could do the prep. And I know, obviously, Lottie, you had quite a bit of work on as well this week, so I wasn't going to leave you to do it all on your own. So listen, with all that said, there's a few rumours to get through. So we'll play our intro and we'll get started.
Arsenal have gone through an entire league campaign without losing. The first time it's happened.
Okay, so as I say, evening everybody, welcome back to the Rumour Mill, our weekly show where we round up all the transfer rumours involving Arsenal for the last week. A few comments just to start us off. Evening Keith, how are you? What's up everyone? Captain Martin Walker, evening. Arsenal 971, come on you Gunners. And Kevin Keown, evening. Evening, how are you? Nice to see a couple of new names in there. If you are watching live, drop us a wee hello. Oh, wow, loads of them coming through there all of a sudden. Mr. Silver Fox, Tony, good evening. James, hi guys. Had to stay awake until 1:30. So, wow, where are you at the minute?
Wow.
Good evening, Stephen and Lottie. Evening, Wheezy J. Ryan, evening.
Oh, before I forget, Stephen, before I forget, can we just quickly wish Jay a very happy birthday? It was his birthday the other day, and I completely forgot to wish him happy birthday over Twitter. So Weezy J, happy birthday! I hope you had a good one.
Happy birthday, evening everyone, and Chris, evening. Wow, that's a lot of evenings there. Okay, so listen, before we get started, I want to do a quick thank you to people. You may have noticed a lot of people voting for us on some awards thing. I can't even remember what it's called. I only had a brief chance to look at it over the weekend. And I just want to say thank you to everybody. We're not expecting to win anything, but it's lovely to get recognition. And it's really nice of you guys to vote for us and basically show us that bit of love. It means the world to G and Lottie and myself that people like what we do enough to actually put our names forward for these things. And it really it takes our breath away. And some of the messages we've all three of us have received privately over the last few weeks, just in terms of the channel, and the love you guys have for it, and the amount you interact with us and everything, it blows us away. And hopefully, you know, we continue to get your support, and we can grow this channel more and more and continue and deliver more and more good content that you all want to be part of and enjoy and get involved with. Lottie, anything you want to say on that?
No, I completely echo what you say. Just thank you for even voting for us. I mean, we don't expect to win, but it does mean a lot. And please keep coming back and tuning in. We love seeing you all in the comments. We love all interacting with you. You all are amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. As we said, we don't expect to win. We're not even that bothered about winning. You know, it's not a big thing. It's lovely to get the recognition, but it's lovely to know you guys support us, and we want to have that. We want to have that interaction with you guys. This channel is for you. You know, I always set this up as a voice for people to come on and talk. And we've been trying more and more to get more people on, and we will be getting more and more people on over the next few while, with loads of people lined up that want to come on. And if anybody does want to come on, drop me a message, drop Lottie a message, drop G a message, and we'll have a chat and we'll get something organised. We have other channels that want to do collaborations with us as well, you know, so there's so much stuff coming, and with so much good content ideas. So good evening, and all the way from India. Wow, fantastic.
That's
so
incredible.
Followers in India, America, the UK, all over. It's fantastic,
Yeah.
the fact that we're reaching out to so many countries now. It's absolutely brilliant. So, all right, let's get into it. So towards the end of the week, we got the news of what is potentially one of the signings of the summer for us, and that is that Smith Rowe has signed a new deal and has got the number 10 shirt. Lottie, straight into it, how does this make you feel?
Do you know what? I was scrolling through Twitter and it just popped up in my feed, and I dropped my phone because I could not believe what I was seeing. I literally quoted, I think my first initial reaction was, he's one of our own. I mean, I was just so excited that after all the nonsense I've got from Aston Villa fans, oh, he's coming to us, and I've sat there and laughed at them. Oh, he's not going anywhere. He's turned down Barcelona. I've said it before and I say it again. He's staying with us. Don't know what you're talking about. I think it was absolutely glorious the way that he did the video. The PR for it was great. I'm so happy he's staying. He's I think what made me even more prouder of him as to be one of our own is that he wants to be a one club player, and that just shows you how much the club means to him, coming from Hayland as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope he does. You know, I hope he does stay. I think he's got the potential to be, you know, an Arsenal player for his entire career. And as you say, coming from Hayland, it means the world. You know, him and Saka came through together, and the fact that we have two potentially world-class players coming through at the same time, it's unbelievable. And it's not going to happen often. You know, I said this last week on the show. We're not going to all of a sudden have all these guys coming through and build a team out of, you know, academy prospects. We use the academy the way Chelsea use it. We'll do well. You know, build them up, sell them on if they're not good enough. But you will then get, you know, one or two diamonds coming through. And we've got that with Smith Rowe. You know, so I'm delighted that he signed on. I've said for years Smith Rowe's going to be a big talent. And obviously it's easy for me to sit here and say that because I didn't interact with you guys all, you know, 2-3 years ago, but I always knew this kid was going to do well. And you'll just have to take my word for it. James, perhaps be a good platform on Twitter so we can talk in a Q&A live. Great work though. Yeah, well, we will. I know a lot of people are in these spaces, or is it spaces they're called?
Yeah, it's spaces at the moment. I've been to a few. They're quite interesting. As long as you pick the right one. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we'll look into that. We'll get some stuff set up. I know I have on the main Cannon Chatter account, I haven't been as active, you know, recently, but we want to start and get more polls and things like that going. Again, we've been sort of focusing more on this side of it on the channel, but we will start and get a lot more of that going again. Was it really ever in doubt? I mean, did people really believe he was off the Villa? No. Do you know what? Villa bit's trying to unsettle them, that's all. Yeah, I mean, Villa are trying to create a rivalry, but there just isn't one. And do you know what? Fair play to them. Fair play to them. At least they're looking up. That's what I would say, is they're looking up, and they're worrying what the teams are doing above them. You know, if you look at United, you know, United are signing Varane and Sancho, and their first thought is, what are Arsenal doing? You know, the first thought of all these fans is, we're signing Varane for 40 million and you're spending 50 million on Ben White. Why do you care? We finished like 5 places below you in the league. If I was a United fan, I wouldn't be looking at the teams below me. I'd be looking at the teams above me going, what do we need to beat them? You know, so as an Arsenal fan, I'm looking at the 7 teams that finished above us and going, right, what do we need to do to catch these 7 teams? Not what are we doing to make sure we're better than Villa? So, you know, fair play to Villa for trying to do it, but we look up, not down. There was a guy who said he'll get a Birmingham City tattoo if the Smith signs a new contract. He has deleted that tweet now. Yeah, there was a couple of them that said that. You know,
gone, Stephen. The account was deleted. I think the account was actually deleted. The one the one that was going to get on his fist.
Yeah, I've seen that one. Love how he wanted Villa's highest ever finishes his shirt number as well.
Brilliant.
Excellent.
Brilliant.
Only muggy Villa fans. I think right now we really have great young players coming through. We could have played right, have our own destiny of players like class. Yeah, or dynasty, sorry. Yeah, we could. I mean, there is some good players like Aziz. I don't know, did you see any of the pictures of Aziz today? That boy has hit the gym over the summer.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I mean, he's looking really sharp with his new haircut as well.
Yeah.
So he looks like he's ready to play this season. I hope he gets the minutes this season as well.
Yeah. Rent free. Well said, United fans. Spoil my. Yep. With this signing, it made John Terry leave his post. No Arsenal fan is homeless because we all live in rival fans' heads, rent free and tax free. Absolutely. As I've said before, if it wasn't for broken refs, which Villa would be? Yeah, that's right. I mean, that should have been a goal, and Villa should have been relegated. So, but yeah, I think it's fairly unanimous. I don't think there's anybody isn't happy that Smith Rowe's staying, and you know he will be a big part of this club in the future. It's whether the big question right now is whether Smith Rowe is enough. You know, considering we're only going to have 38 league games plus the FA Cup and the League Cup. Is Smith Rowe enough to do the whole season, or do we need someone else? You know, obviously we're being heavily linked with Maddison and Aouar and Odegaard and stuff, and we'll come on to some of those in a few minutes. But you know, Smith Rowe looks like he's hit the gym a bit as well during the summer, and that was my one concern with him, is he is a little bit glass, and he does tend to get injured quite easily. So you know, I still think we need another person in that position to give him competition and to push him. And you don't want him having to play 38 games plus league or cup games. So Grealish would be playing in Manchester. Yeah, I think Grealish is going to end up playing in Manchester. By the way, who would you take in the long run, Matters or Odegaard? We'll come back to that later on. I know it's late for you, but we will come back to it. Genuinely excited for the coming season. The biggest doubt we need as a club is the negativity, right? I'm super optimistic of the coming season. The Smith isn't enough. Maddison with the icing on the cake. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we do. I mean, it's easy to be negative, and negativity sells. And we've said that so many times. You know, we're not an overly, a ridiculously positive channel, but we're not a negative channel. We're an honest channel. And we'll always give honest feedback and opinion, and we always ask people for the same thing. And I'm quite happy with anybody having a negative opinion as long as they can back it up with reason. So, I mean, I'm quite happy for people to share their opinions. Right. I feel like we need another player to rest Smith Rowe sometimes. I doubt he can play all the games. Yeah, well, that's exactly what I've been saying. All right, we'll move on then to the first transfer rumour of a player potentially coming in. And this one is a wee bit strange. We were linked to this guy towards the end of last season, which is Josh Doig, I think he's called, who plays for Hibernian. He is a left back and valued in around sort of 5 million. I'm not sure why we're still being linked with another left back when we've just signed Tavares and he looks pretty decent from all accounts. My only thought is that because this kid is 18, 19, that the thought is buy him, loan him back out for a couple of seasons and see where he is in a couple of years' time. What's your thoughts on him, Lottie?
If I'm honest with you, I did a lot of research on Tavares, and sorry, I do apologise. The Portuguese don't pronounce their R's. If anybody thinks I'm pronouncing that wrong, I did a lot of research on him for my mini series on the blog, and I think he's, with some guidance from Tony, he'll be absolutely perfect because he was previously a wing back. I'm not too sure why we're looking at another left back. I mean, he's only 19 at the moment. If we did get him, he'd have to go back out on loan. I think it might be a case of the agent linking him to us to push his price up if he did move. I mean, he had 31 appearances for Hibernian last season. In the Scottish Premiership, he had 4 goals, 2 assists. But Man City are interested. And I'm not too sure what their left back situation is at the moment, but it could get interesting if he does go there, I guess. He plays with both feet. He's not got a preferential side. I will say from the footage I've seen on YouTube, because I haven't actually watched him play, he has got a wicked cross, and literally loves. Basically he can do a Thomas Partey from outside the box and get it on target and in the goal at 19 years old, which is pretty impressive in my book.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of talk up in Scotland that he is, he's very much another Kieran Tierney style player.
Mm-hmm.
And there's people saying that, for his age, he's potentially going to be better than Tierney, which, it's a bold statement because we've seen just how good Kieran Tierney is and how much Tierney adds to our team and how much we miss him when he's not there. So, it could potentially be a good option to bring him in, get him while he's sort of 5-6 million and put him back out, maybe give him a season in Championship, then a season in the Premier League on loan. Although, let's face it, a lot of the Arsenal fan base will not be happy if we were buying a player and then loaning them out for a couple of seasons, as we've seen with another certain player recently. But I'm not against it, but I think we need to be focusing on other areas. Although that said, I mean, we did sign a striker the other day from Fulham. I can't remember his name, but we signed that, and that's another promising prospect for the future. So it's great, and it's great to see that even the players we are being linked with are all very young as well. So we're potentially building a very youthful team to work towards the future. So yeah, I mean, I'm not saying no to it, but I don't understand the real value in it right now, unless, as I say, it is a one for the future. A couple more comments then. Let's see where we got to. Would be great to get William off the wage book, would free up enough for 2 top players. Yeah, I mean, there's so many players we need to get off the wages, and that is the concern, is that we're 3 weeks out from the start of the season. Isn't it 3 or 2? 3?
We're 17 days off.
17, so it's less than 3 weeks.
I'm counting down, sorry.
Less than 3 weeks, and then the transfer window itself shuts in just over a month. We've still got the likes of Bellerin, we've still got the likes of Xhaka, Nketiah, Willian, Maitland-Niles, Willock, all these players rumoured to be going. Kalashnik, there's another one. All rumoured to be going, and yet they're still at the club. Now, I'd expect things to really start to move in the next week or two. But it's becoming very tactical transfers. Clubs will wait as long as they can to try and drive the price down because they know that clubs are desperate to get rid of them in order to sign other players. So they think, we'll get them cheaper. but it's frustrating when you see so many players linked, and you want to have players in and give them that pre-season together. So we just have to wait and see. But yeah, Williams one that we need to get off the wages. He has been linked with a move to Japan or somewhere, I think. I read the other day. And that basically Arsenal said, yeah, you can go, but it's trying to agree a deal for his wages. Chris, but do we sign someone to rival him as number 10, or as a backup player Maddison would want to play every week, but we're giving him a new deal? Yeah, well, I mean, the thing with Maddison is Maddison could play as an 8 as well, so he could partner party in the midfield. And I think a lot of it comes down to, at the minute, we don't know how Arteta wants to play next season. It's rumoured he wants to go to a 4-3-3, and that's what he's been gradually working towards. We've gone from the 5 at the back to 4, with a 4-2-3-1. Now he wants to go 4-3-3, but we still don't have the players to do it. So it'll be interesting. And, if we get Maddison, what does that mean for Smith Rowe? Smith Rowe could push out to the left. They could play together quite easily. But again, as I say, it depends on the system that we go with. Ryan, we really don't need a third string left back. Yeah. Great backup for KT, but that's half our defence on the Iron Brew. If we sign him, we can't sign another player to send on loan. Agree, Defo do not need another left back unless he plays right back as well. Agree, I don't think we need another left back. Not needed. Now, is he really? Nope. Tavares could potentially fulfill other roles, but agreed, do we need another Scottish left back? I mean, they're not much good, are they? No, I mean, there's only 2 of them in the league that are sort of halfway decent. Yeah, that's the name of the guy. Can't pronounce it, so I'm not even going to try. And Gary, hello, Stephen and Ollie, hello, Gary. All right, let's move on then to another one that was potentially linked as an in. And again, I'm going to say this before I bring this up. We say this every week in the show. All of these rumours are rumours, and we believe nothing until we see the player standing with a shirt in his hand or signing the contract. But it's fun to talk about. And I say that because this is the latest one, which is Bernardo Silva from Manchester City. And do you know what? I'll start off. I would love this guy at Arsenal. I think he's a fantastic player. And I really do think he would add, something special to the midfield. Do I see it happening? Not in a million years. And I think the only reason we're being linked with him is because of the Arteta City link, and Arteta having coached them before. I don't think for 1 second he would come to us when we have no European football. I think, if we were Champions League club, absolutely, we'd have every chance of getting him. But I just can't see him wanting to come and not having any European football when he's coming from Man City. But they need to sell players to facilitate getting in Kane and Grealish. So he is, from all accounts, for sale. But I just don't see it happening. But as I say, it's someone I would love. What do you guys think? Drop your comments in. Lottie, for you, Bernardo Silva?
Do you know what? I absolutely love the way he plays. I think he's absolutely brilliant. But as you said, we've got no European football. We've got a better chance of hell freezing over than getting him to sign with us, to be honest with you. But yeah, no, last he had 4 appearances over the Euros for Portugal. It was a bit quiet. I was surprised he actually didn't score, if I'm honest with you. But with 45 appearances last year, he only had five goals, which for him, I do kind of expect more. Honestly, I really do. I mean, he played in Champions League, Premier League, Europa League, not Europa League, the FA Cup. I mean, I still expect him to be scoring for the wages he's on, and he's not. So maybe there is something there that's saying he's unhappy, and that's why he wants to go. Apart from the reason that he's raising funds.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he got as many games last season as he has before. I don't think he's necessarily a first choice starter at City anymore. But it still doesn't change. He is a class player, and he could walk into a top European side. I'm not going to say an English side because there is no team better than us in England. But he could quite easily go to a Real Madrid or Atletico Madrid, Barca. He could go to Italy and go to one of the Milan clubs or Juve. He's that quality that he walks into a top team. So realistically, as I say, I can't see it happening. It is one I would love. If we could sign him, that would be class. It absolutely would. James would love him. He would be a luxury player. Do we need him though? We would only get him for FFP for them to get Grealish and Kane. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it is. It's all about funding their move for other players. And whilst you're strengthening a rival, at the same time, he would strengthen us. I don't know what you're saying about him being a luxury player, but he still would have had, he would strengthen our team. And we already had a good relationship with City. And the fact that you have that Arteta link with those players. And you know what? Arteta wanted John Stones, and we all sort of laughed it off. And look at the season John Stones had. He wanted Jorginho, and we laughed it off. And, from all accounts, we probably could have got both of those players if we had pushed at the time because we had the European football. So it is the European football that's costing us, I think, with this one. But it would be nice. It would be lovely if we could get that one over the line. Seems half the City team is joining us. Silva, Mahrez, Sterling. It's a new one every day. Yeah. Well, I mean, we've already talked about them. Those other two earlier on the window. They were both linked. And probably there will be one or two more linked from City with us over the next couple of weeks. But do you know what? There's worse teams to take players from than Man City. Those guys they're winners. So I don't. There's very few at Man City I would turn my nose up at. What about you, Lottie? I mean, is there many players there at City you wouldn't want?
Not at all. I mean, the talent's up there, but if we did get any of them, they, as the people in the comments are saying, he is a luxury player, and I mean, we've got one luxury player, and he's not doing any work, is he? I mean, he's come to Arsenal for his Chelsea retirement, so because we just can't afford it. We need players that want to be there and want to work.
Yeah. The other thing with Silva is you'd wonder what wages he'd want. That's a big thing. Let's face it, Arteta has one hell of a brain. Everyone at City says he has an unbelievable football brain. Those early losses last season tarnished some of his reputation, but what he did prior, FA Cup, etc., and what he's done since Xmas tells me enough. Yeah, I mean, I'd be inclined to agree. We had a run of 9 sort of games that really cost us our season. And even within those 9 games, some of the decisions, like the loss to Wolves, where David Luiz was sent off for the most ridiculous non-challenge ever. There was things like that really cost us refereeing decisions that were really, really poor. And I'm not going to defend Arteta and say that the football was wonderfully exciting. It wasn't. He was trying to do what he could with the players he had. I do think there was an element of stubbornness from him that he was determined to play the system he wanted, even though we didn't have the players to play it, rather than playing the system that suited the players we had. So I can't, I'm not going to defend that. Some of his substitutions, questionable. Some of his tactics, like playing the false 9 in the first leg of the semi, very questionable. But at the same time, I do think he is a good coach, and I think he's got a lot to come. And I think if we can get the players he wants, and we play the system he wants with those players, that we could surprise a lot of people next season. So I'm certainly not writing Arteta off yet. I know at times I've kind of said I'm unsure, and say I'm still unsure, but I'm not writing him off. The City reserve team would probably finish top 4 as well. Yeah, may well do. All right, we'll move on then. Another one that I've seen linked is this fella, Dutch international, Toon Kupenmers, and terrible pronunciation, but I tried. Captain of AZ Alkmaar, and do you know what? He looks a tidy little player. What's your thoughts on him, Lottie?
Again, I had to YouTube this one when it came out because I thought, oh, who's this? Don't know who he is. But looking at him, yeah, he looks absolutely great. I mean, he had 4 appearances last season, in 4 competitions, including the Champions League qualifiers as well as the Europa League. He has 17 goals in total for the season. He's left-footed. He's got an 81% successful pass rate, which is great. From what I can see in the videos, his passing, his direct free kicks, long shots, tackling, and his concentration is phenomenal. I mean, if he's definitely an alternative to what we've been linked to, but I still would like to see Auer or Maddison.
Yeah. Well, I think that, Kupenmars is more a defensive player, so he's more sort of the direct replacement for Xhaka. But he does get a goal, as you say. I think 31 league appearances last season, 15 goals and 10 assists from from a defensive midfielder position. And he's gradually getting better year on year. He's one that's been on Arsenal's radar for a couple of seasons now.
He's only 23, isn't he?
Sorry?
He's only 23, so
he's only 23. He's a Dutch international. He's been on Arsenal's radar for a couple of seasons because this isn't the first year we've been linked to him. I do remember sort of looking at him last season as well. And if you look at his goals and his assists, I mean, his first season, I just jotted down a couple here. His first season, 26 games, 1 goal. Second season, 32 games, 8 goals. Season before last was 25 games and 11 goals. And last season, 31 games and 15 goals. So he's finding goals. And this is the one thing that we keep saying. We need goals from midfield. So if you bring him in and he's going to get you, realistically, the Premier League's obviously harder than the Dutch League. But if he gets you 8 to 10 goals a season from a defensive midfield position, that's absolutely fantastic. And for someone who's going to only cost probably 15 million, he's left-footed, so I think he fits into that role that Xhaka played, and plays it better for me. I think he's a more talented player, and I think he's slightly underrated because he plays for AZ Alkmaar in the Dutch League, and it's a fairly big name within the Dutch League, but Dutch football, if you're not playing for Ajax or PSV, you're kind of not looked at. So he's absolutely one I would take, and I think he would add real quality. I'd be quite happy to throw him in as the starter alongside Thomas Partey. But again, comes down to formation. But he is one, as I said, it's been linked this week, and yeah, definitely for me. You guys in the chat, if any of you are aware of him or have seen him play, what do you think? Let's read a couple more comments. Where have we got to? Ryan saying, Captain Marvel for the money he is. I'm not sure what that is. Saying, oh, sorry, is Ramsdale really that bad for a lot of people? Well, a lot of people are saying, yeah. I mean, 30 million for Ramsdale. I don't think that one's happening. I think we're going to walk away from that. And he's agreeing, would have much preferred Onana. Too bad he went for Leon. He hasn't actually. They've agreed personal terms, but they can't. Leon and Ajax are not able to agree a fee at the minute. So that one's still a possibility. But the problem with Onana, I mean, what do you think on this one, Lottie? I mean, he's not going to be able to play until I think it's October, November time, and then potentially he's away in January at the African Cup of Nations. I mean, is he someone that we should really be putting our money into?
Thing is, I think he'd be more competition than Ramsdale personally for Leno. I think if we got Ramsdale, Leno would just be sitting there like, yeah, I'm starting every game, nothing to worry about. We need someone that's a threat. I know I've said this a few times, but look at the season Martinez was with us before he left. I mean, I've never seen Leno actually work that hard to actually maintain his spot. I mean, we shouldn't have let Martinez go, but we need someone that's going to challenge him so he's not starting every single game and he's not comfortable.
Yeah, no, we shouldn't have let Martinez go, but at the same time, Martinez didn't want to stay and fight for his place. So, I think we did the right thing. Party's getting closer to his first goal for us. Yeah, if we make the nets an awful lot taller, or let him shoot from further back.
I tell you what, Thomas Partey, Weldy's coming this season. I'm not saying when, but it will come this season. Hopefully. Hopefully.
Andy Cakebaker, please, no Ramada. I don't know. The one up at Shaw's Bridge, not bad, Andy. Ramsdale, I knew what you meant. And Andy will know what I'm talking about when I say that. He's a player and he could cost very little in comparison to a lot. He's a great GX replacement. Lokonga surely has to come in for that, though. I don't know if Lokonga's come in as a starter or not. It's hard to know. What's your thoughts?
Do you know what? I'm so excited Sambi's joined us. He's just, I mean, he's just an exciting player. I've watched Anderlecht's season last season. My cousin's an Anderlecht fan. So he recorded the whole season and I watched him for the whole of last season. He is absolutely incredible. I'm so excited we got him compared to when we did when the first rumor came up. I mean, he's incredible. And this kid's definitely a wonder kid, as Company and Henri has said. I'm just hoping he gets the minutes. I really do.
Yeah.
I mean, he was 21 and he was captain all season. I mean, how many 21-year-olds do we know that does that in a season? And they've only been established for less than 3.
Absolutely. Chris saying the Onana deal makes no sense to him. He won't be able to play for 3/4 of the season. Exactly. Party the new John Jensen. Well, John Jensen won a Euros. It's not knock him. All right, we'll move on. And someone who's been linked this week with a move to Newcastle from Arsenal is Ainsley Maitland-Niles. I mean, would you be sad to see Maitland-Niles go?
Honestly, as much as I like watching him play, I've watched him come up through the youth team and stuff. No, he is just one of those players where it just didn't work out for him. I mean, he wants to play in a specific space and he can't. It's just you need to be played where your manager tells you to play, basically.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
we've talked about that on the show before. That he's gone down to West Brom, and Big Sam said the same thing. That you play where you're told to play and be thankful, especially when you're at a Premier League club. And that's the sort of my thing with Maitland-Niles is he's a decent player, but he hasn't got enough quality to play that central midfield role that he wants to play. I think he's got the attributes to play right back and potentially as a covering left back, but he doesn't want to play it. And I don't think that, Arteta certainly doesn't see him as a central midfielder. And, from all accounts, a lot of other coaches don't. I mean, I know he was linked with Southampton last season, but he was told the same sort of thing and said, yeah, you're going to be playing right back. And he didn't want to go there. So he went to West Brom, and yeah, he played a bit in the centre of midfield, but West Brom still went down. So it's a hard one. And it's that sentiment that we all have because he's come through Hill End. And we want these players to come through and play for us. But as I've said before, and I said earlier on tonight in the show, let's use the Hill End to our advantage and sell these players that aren't going to cut it, make money that we can invest in the rest of the team. Gary saying, is he making that standard go on? I don't mind if he stays right back, else bye-bye. Yeah, that's exactly what we're saying. If you don't want to play right back, there isn't a future for him in the team. And he needs to accept that. So he either needs to say, yeah, I'm willing to play right back and give him his chance, or get rid of him and make some money from him. He should knuckle down and play where he's told. There was such a buzz when he got that England call up, but since then, he's kind of gotten a big head and hasn't been the same. And the thing is, I mean, that England call-up came for a right-back as well. He was called up to play as right-back. And to be fair, Saka was called up as a sort of a makeshift left-back. But he took advantage of it, and, he proved himself, and he just kept growing when he was playing for Arsenal, and he played anywhere he was told. And look what's happened to him. And, it was the same. We've talked about Reece Nelson not wanting to go out on loan, and I said, look at, what happened to the Smith. Went out on loan to Huddersfield last season, had an absolute blinding season, gets into the Arsenal first team this season, now gets his new deal with the number 10. These things happen if you're willing to make the effort. These guys that aren't willing to make the effort, you're not the ready-made stars you think you are. Take a walk if you're not going to work. Let them go. I'd be sad, but we can't keep all our young guns. It's not possible in the wrong mix. Arteta keeps going on about the mix. Absolutely. Keith, Maitland-Niles has been really badly advised. We all know he's a decent right back for a Prem team, centre midfield championship at best, I'm afraid. Absolutely. Jay, Ainsley Maitland-Niles and Willock would sit nicely with Steve Bruce kind of play, so let's cash in now. Yep. Scott, Morning Legends, thanks for taking my question. No worries, Scott. I did DM you earlier on. I'm not sure if you've seen it. I didn't get a chance to join your show earlier on, or to watch your show earlier. If anybody hasn't or doesn't follow Scott's channel, make sure and go and do that. He did an interview, a live interview, it was 12 o'clock this afternoon with Fabrizio Romano. And I'll be tuning in later on to catch up on that and see what Fabrizio had to say. Ainsley Maitland-Niles is not a big head, nice lad, would play anywhere, but realistically he's not going to play much. Okay. Saka can play anywhere in the pitch. Ainsley Maitland-Niles cannot. Very big difference. Ainsley Maitland-Niles doesn't realise that. Sad. It's funny, different opinions there on Ainsley Maitland-Niles. Some, Andy saying that he's a nice guy, could play anywhere. And obviously I disagree with that. Others are disagreeing with it. But, it's always good to have different opinions. And the right back position is there for the taking. He could have that position for years if he wanted. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Right now it is there for the taking because Chambers and Cedric aren't really nailing it down, and with Bellerin most likely going, thankfully, we do need a right back, and it could save a fortune, if he was willing to play there. But we'll see. I think he'll be gone. So okay, we'll move on. And another one we've been linked with, and I'm not even going to attempt this one. What was it? Come on a sec. Diallo, potentially. He's a Portuguese 18-year-old midfielder. He's only made about 8 senior appearances. He's a right wing player and available for around sort of £500,000 to £1 million, and seen as obviously very much a future star. I'm not going to pretend I know anything about him because until earlier on today, I'd never heard of him. So, I mean, again, it's another one that, we potentially buy in cheap, build him up. If he does well, he potentially gets a chance in the first team. If not, how much would we really lose on him? The chances are we could make money selling him on in a few years' time. What's your thoughts on him, Lottie?
Again, never ever heard of this kid. From what I can see, he's 18. That's a good one, Gary. Sorry. As you said, he's played on the right wing, but he can also, from looking at him in general, he looks like he can play as a striker, an attacking midfielder as well. He's had 6 appearances, 1 goal, and he's passed about 78%. And his contract is up next summer, so maybe this is one of the reasons why we are actually looking at investing in him.
Yeah. I mean, if any of you guys in the chat have seen him or heard of him or know anything about him, please drop in some comments now, because yeah, I'm at a complete loss. Again, it's it's annoying at the minute that a lot of these ones are, these are very much potential future players. The same with Josh Doig, who we talked about earlier on. The same with this striker that was signed from Fulham. They're all potential stars for the future, but it's not what we need to be focusing on right now. We need to be focusing on potential stars for next season, because going into next season with the team that we have now is not going to inspire me with confidence. I do think we can do better than we did, but we still need a lot of improvement. So, listen, we'll not spend too long on him, because, as I say, I think we'd all be kind of making it up if we pretended we knew who he was and much about him. Can't have him. He's wearing a can of Holston Pills. Brilliant. Brilliant.
That's brilliant.
Yeah. Scott, great to have some youngsters around the squad, but completely agree we need some quality stars to improve us. Yeah. All right. Moving on to then a couple of players who have potentially been linked with a move back to the club. When Ronaldo signs it free on transfer deadline day. Don't bite, choke. We've been signing stars for the future for the last 10 to 15 years. Time we sign players for the right now. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, a couple of players that have been linked with a move back to the club. And the first one is someone who's at the club for a long time. And I kind of call him now the Juventus flop, is Aaron Ramsey. Juventus need to get players off the books because they are broke. And we've seen that, they want to get Locatelli, who we obviously want as well. But us taking the likes of Aaron Ramsey off their hands would help them get Locatelli, which is another reason why I don't want to do it. Aside from the fact that I was never Ramsey's biggest fan. I don't think he was quite the player that some people hyped him up to be. And for me, I don't want to see him back. But different people, different opinions. You guys in the chat, drop your opinions in now. Would you want to see Ramsey back at the club? Is he someone that you've missed over the last couple of years? Lottie, what's your thoughts?
Do you know what? I haven't missed him, but I still absolutely adore him. He's one of those players that I grew up, that I've grown up watching. I mean, he's one of ours, but we shouldn't have let him go for free, which really at the time it annoyed me. I thought we could have got a decent price for him, but Arsenal being Arsenal, they just let the contract run down. Would I really want him back? No. I mean, he's past it. His knee injuries. I think he was injured twice with his knee last season over at Juve. I don't think we could risk it. Although he did have an impressive Euros, considering how far Wales had got. I was quite impressed with him.
Yeah, but it's a no.
Solid no, I'm afraid.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I was never his biggest fan. I kind of, if you average it out, he averaged about 4 or 5 goals a season over his time at Arsenal. And he, if you build into that the fact that there was 2 really good seasons. The rest were average. And at the start, it took him a while to get into it. And the injury at Stoke didn't do him any favours. It took him a long time to recover from that. So, yeah, I mean, for me, it's a no. Let's see what some of you guys think in the chat here. Arsenal league starters, central attacking midfielder, central defensive midfielder, and right back. I want to be able to guess the lineup each week, not be surprised each week. Absolutely. The problem is half the stars for the future that we sign end up elsewhere or don't hit the expected heights. Yeah. That's why I'm okay with signing players, as I say, and putting them into the academy. I'm okay with signing some of these younger players and putting them through the academy and, potentially using that in the future to sell on me. As if I keep using Chelsea as the example, but it's because they do it so well. They buy all these kids. They buy 17, 18-year-olds, put them in their academy, play them in their unders teams, send them out maybe for a year's loan, and then they sell them on and make a huge profit. And I've said it before, we can criticise Abramovich for the money he's pumped in, but actually they've made so much of it back from doing that through their academy and through their underage teams. So not against it. Evening, G. How are you? Just back from pre-season. Have you signed any players at your club yet? James, I don't know about you. I'd take Ramsey in a heartbeat. Good to have an opinion. But as I say, for me, it's a no. But yeah, there are definitely people out there that would take Ramsey back. I know it is split amongst the fan base. I remember I did a poll on this a few months back when it was first rumoured. And it was a lot closer than I thought. I think it was like 55-45 or something that said no. But it was a lot closer than I was expecting. Sorry you couldn't join earlier. No problem. Kevin would love Rambo back, but I would cry at wages. Yeah. He couldn't come back at the sort of money he's on at Juventus. He would have to take a massive pay cut. The other thing I don't know if you've seen, he's linked to a move to Spurs as well and Wolves.
What?
Yeah.
I will lose all disrespect if that happens.
Spurs are interested in him
anymore. Oh, Lord.
If Alba doesn't
One
deliver
way to
this
commit
season.
Career suicide, that's for sure.
Yeah. If Alba doesn't deliver this season, which new striker would you sign except Tammy? We'll come back to that in a few minutes. Nope from Keith. No from Jay. Scott, if Ramsey would take a huge wage cut, I'd definitely take him back. Believe Willock has the potential to play a role, though, even if he's given a proper chance. Okay, Ramsey would be my pick as the backup for Smith Rowe. He's not going to play every week, but we'd be a good player to have around to support. Fair enough. I adored him as well. Shouldn't have gone, but a no to coming back. But I wouldn't pay him stupid wages to come back. It would only be 60 to 80,000 a week, no more. Fair enough. Stick him on a plane with Gonzalo Higuain. Yeah. Piloted by Raquelme. With Benzema in there as well.
That's one
who
rumour
else?
we still haven't seen yet. I'm quite pleased about that.
What's that?
The Benzema rumour hasn't surfaced yet. I'm still waiting for it. I'm still got time, but it hasn't surfaced yet.
Do you know what? I would have loved Benzema back in the day.
Definitely.
A few years ago, he's such a good player. But it wasn't to be. All right, so another one then linked potentially with a move back, and this is one that potentially is holding up a lot of our summer. And it's Martin Odegaard. So it was said that he was going back to Madrid and he was going to be a starter, be a key part. Madrid now have been given a reduced wage bill. They can't sign players. We've seen they're having to sell off players. They couldn't offer Varane what he wanted to stay, so he's going to United. He has said it's because he wants a new challenge. I think it's because he's just not getting the deal that he wants. And potentially Odegaard then is available, and it's no secret that Arteta really likes this kid. He didn't exactly set the world on fire when he came in, but he was only there for sort of 4 or 5 months, and he did get an injury halfway through. And I do believe we didn't see the best of him. He was kind of a bit hit and miss at times. It's a tough one. I don't know. I'm not saying he's a bad player, because he's not. He's potentially a very good player, and I do actually think his ceiling's higher than Maddison's. But is he going to make it in the Premier League? Is the big question. And do we have time to give him a year to settle in? That's the big thing for me. And somebody else had put in a tweet earlier on, and I had responded to it asking, Odegaard or Maddison. And for me, it was kind of, if we got Odegaard and Aouar for the same money as Maddison, then go for Odegaard and Aouar. But I've been thinking about it more today, and I kind of think, well, maybe we do need that sort of proven Premier League players. And it is Odegaard. You can't say he's proven Premier League, although he played 14 Premier League games. He's going to need a full season before he really settles in and hits the ground. So I can't make up my mind on this one. That's kind of where I'm at. What's your thoughts on him, Lolly?
I'm very much on the fence, although I think I'd rather have Maddison. He's Premier League established, and I think all he's got to do is just kind of settle into the team and gel with the team. I mean, he's come up against all the teams in the league, obviously, and the FA Cup, Carabao Cup. I just think he'd be a bit better. I don't think we can afford to risk and wait for Odegaard to sort of settle in again and sort of like get used to playing in the Premier League. Because as you said, he wasn't. We haven't seen the best of him yet.
Yeah. Would you be upset if we got him? You know, would you be disappointed? Well, not upset, it's the wrong word, but would you be annoyed if we went for him over Maddison?
Not at all. Not at all, because they're both quality players. Absolutely not. Either will do me, but I just prefer Maddison at this point.
Okay. Captain Martin Walker would love to have Odegaard back. James saying yes. Gary, Odegaard can come back if Real wants to take discount. The 40 million offer was so last year. Warren Odegaard for around 60 million. See, I mean, for me, that if you got the two of those for the sort of somewhere between 60 to 70 million, I still think it's a better idea taking the two players who potentially have higher ceilings than Maddison in the long term than taking Maddison for sort of 60 to 70 million. Chris, I've had this argument all day on Twitter. I just think what Madrid would want that could be spent elsewhere. I just think having seen what Sancho went for Madrid would want that fee for him. I don't know. I think Madrid are desperate to get players off the books. I think if we do go for Odegaard, it'll be within the last couple of days of the window. When we can drive the price down.
All over again. Yeah. Absolute Mesut Ozil all over again. That was a nightmare.
All right. Kevin, depends on the cost. Would rather Matters or even better Grealish just to sit Villa fans down? Yeah, absolutely. Grealish would be the dream. I know certainly G loves Grealish, and for him that would be it. For me, the dream signing's a war. I've always said that, and I've never been a big one for getting names and numbers on the back of the shirts, but I am getting another shirt this season. I just haven't decided which one, and I am going to get name and number on the back of it just for a bit of fun. But I'm waiting to see who we sign, because if we sign Aouar, I'm getting Aouar's name on the back of it. If we don't, it'll probably be Tierney in the number 3. Jay, if he has to come back, it would have to be a permanent deal, but I feel it'll be Pepe's situation where it will take another season to prove himself. Yeah, I mean, I'm saying the same thing. I think it'll take a while for him to really settle in. And Andy's having a cry or a laugh. I'm not entirely sure why, but yeah. So Odegaard, I think we're all kind of mixed feelings on that one. The one thing with the Maddison thing, it's not really being heavily reported by any of the big sort of journalists. It does seem to have come from, I know AFC Bell had put something out, and whilst everybody sort of clings on to Bell now because of the party thing, if you actually read when AFC Bell puts out comments and tweets, if you actually read them, they're the most open-ended tweets ever. He basically says, Arsenal want this player, we might sign him, we might not. He has never actually come up with this exclusive. So this thing that he had said, oh, we're getting party, anybody with an ounce of sense could have worked out that it was going to be a deadline day triggering of the release clause if we were going to sign him. And all Bell had to do afterwards was say, yeah, they changed their mind last minute. So it's strange that none of the big sort of journalists, and although Ornstein came out and said that he didn't think it would happen because he didn't think Arsenal had the finances, although he did say that about Pepe as well, so he'd take that with a pinch of salt. Andy was crying at the Villa comment. Okay. 100% getting number and the Smith. Anybody else getting shirts? I know Keith will be getting Smith Rowe on the back of his. Anybody else getting names and numbers? And if you are, drop them in the comments who you're going to get. Chris, Odegaard in a season-long loan to see if he's good, but I just have our Shavin vibes. with him, who was another who wasn't as good as the reputation he came to the club with. Oh, I loved Arshavin. He was just
Actually, I got a funny story about that. When I was living in Hampstead, right? When I obviously was like, I think I was about maybe still in primary school. He used to run past my house down to Regis Park every morning at 7 o'clock in the morning. I'd see him run past my house. It was so cool. Never got out there though.
James is shattered. Amazing show. Both obviously a level-headed opinion and smiles. Roll on Sunday, 2 times wins. Chelsea girls at 12, and then women at 3. Night all up the Arsenal and onwards and upwards. Night. Thanks for joining us, and catch the rest of the show on catch up, and we'll hopefully see you again with us. Kate, indeed, ESR 10 home shirt may get a retro Perez 7 for the second collection too. Yeah, why not? All right, couple more to go, and another potential outgoing. A player linked with a move to both Lyon and Atletico Madrid is Alexander Lacazette. He has 1 year left on his contract, and for me, I've said this before, much as I like what he offers with the younger players, that link-up play, and he seems to play well with them, I think giving him a contract extension and a pay rise, I don't think he does enough to justify going over 200 grand a week. And I think losing him for free next summer is another poor move. So I think now is the time to cash in on him. If you got sort of 15 to 20 million, I think that could be reinvested somewhere else. So yeah, I mean, I'd be sad to see Lacazette go, because I do like Lacazette, but for me, it's time for him to move on. What are your thoughts, Lottie? I mean, would you want them to stay, or are you happy for him to go?
Do you know what? I absolutely adore him. I mean, he's the way he plays with the youngsters, and it's just brilliant. I mean, he did have a really bad patch, and he was benched, and he came back swinging from it, and I've been impressed since. I would be sad to see him go, but if he doesn't want to stay, he can go. I mean, I've always said, if a player's not happy, why keep him? And if we can I'd rather cash in on him rather than let him go for free and do a typical Arsenal.
Okay. Sorry, I was just opening another tin of Guinness there, and it decided to go everywhere on me, so apologies.
Rather you than me after my England chat.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think it's strange that he's being linked with Atletico, because they have so many strikers, but Simeone's a big fan of him. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. It's who we go for. Do we replace him at all? I think Nketiah will go. I do think he'll go, and if Lacazette goes as well, it leaves us with Aubameyang, Balogun, and potentially Martinelli as well to play up top. Mm-hmm. And again, I think that all goes then down to the formation that Arteta wants to play.
Thing is, Martinelli won't be back for a while. He's playing for Brazil in the Olympics, isn't he, at the moment?
Yeah, but that's over.
He's gone to Tokyo.
I think it's over in, the Olympics is over in about 2 weeks, isn't it?
Yeah, but then he needs a
So he will be back before the start of the season. Although, maybe he gets a week or two off holiday. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think he'll be back for early September. Possibly.
I get the economics of this deal, but I'd love to see him get a 1 year extension. He just links up so well and is a great influence, but it is what it is, I suppose. Yeah, I mean, there is an argument for it, but it's just, I mean, he's already on, I think it's about 180 grand a week he's on. And
that's enough for him, personally.
He'd want the pay rise. The other side of it as well is, if you look at it like this, if you're Lacazette, you're 30 years old, you have potentially one big move left, one big signing on bonus. Do you really want to stay one more season knowing that you're going to be sold next summer? Or do you go now and have 2, 3, 4 years at another club? You know, a chance to establish yourself. So for me, I think for him, it makes more sense to go. Unless he's going to sign a sort of 2, 3 year deal and stay at Arsenal. But then all of a sudden you've got, you know, 2 strikers, and Aubameyang and Lacazette, who are over 30 and earning over $500,000 a week between them, and not at the minute contributing enough goals to warrant it. So it's a difficult one, but for me, yeah, I mean, I think he should go. 100% Lottie, so I'll be agreeing with you there, Lottie. Selling for 15 million or having him to help to get top 6, and concerned we sell him and Arteta feels he is only Alba and decides maybe William could play up top. Ooh, that's a frightening thought.
He needs to go. Please don't go. Don't give me nightmares.
Laka being bad really helps him get bullet headers. Or bald, sorry. Helps him get bullet headers. Interesting. I think Lacazette will get a new deal after Saka. He was probably our best player last season. He seems to not want to leave, so I can see him seeing out the next stage and leaving then or retiring. Yeah, I mean, he did have another good season. I mean, the year before that, he was player of the season, if I remember right. And he was our top goal scorer last season. So it is a hard one, but again, it comes back to that: are we letting sentiment rule our thoughts here? You know, do we have to be more ruthless? And for me, we arguably need a more ruthless striker. And we need someone who's not afraid to just get the ball and have a shot. And I think Balogun is going to be more like that. Aubameyang and Lacazette are almost too nice, too accommodating for other players, and want the other players to be involved and, you know, and get goals and stuff. I genuinely want a striker who's greedy. You know, much as I can't stand Tom Daly down at Spurs, I think, you know, the cheating diver is a greedy player. You know, you look at him when he was top goal scorer in the World Cup, he was claiming goals that were hitting in off his backside. And that's what we need. We need someone like that. So, Kevin, I'd be happy if you left. I do not think that Arsenal players would. As for replacements, I actually like Tammy as opposed to Lottie. Fair enough. Yeah.
Don't talk to me about Tammy.
What's that?
So don't talk to me about Tammy. No, thank you. Don't want any clearance from Chelsea. No clearance window.
I love the guy and was so happy when he signed, but now at his age and only a year left in his contract, it's time to cash in. Yeah. I mean, I loved him as well. And I thought I don't think he's ever reached the levels we thought he was going to reach. And that happens so often. You know, I think, you know, we said it before about Leno. For me, Leno is not the world-class keeper we thought he was going to be. He's a good keeper, but he's not the world-class level. And I think we all thought the same thing with Lacazette. We were buying a world-class striker from Lyon, and he never lived up to that potential. So, yeah, I mean, for me, as I say, time to cash in, but obviously others don't necessarily agree. Andy Balogun is the next big thing. Play him. I will be quiet, and I promise. No, do you know what? Keep jumping in. We love all the comments. Yeah, Balogun has a massive future. I was so happy to see him sign. Mr. Arsenal podcast evening. Had enough Chelsea rejects, thanks, and don't even get me started on Ramsdale. Yeah, we're not talking about
totally
Ramsdale.
Agreed, Ryan.
Absolutely. All right, so last one of the rumours, and this is one that popped up today, and I found quite interesting, was Lautaro Martinez from Inter Milan, the Argentine international. I'm not going to let you talk about him first, Lolly. What's your thoughts?
I've watched. Do you know what? I haven't watched much of him. I maybe watched 30 seconds on YouTube. This is going to sound really bad, but I'd never heard of him until you mentioned him to me earlier. I haven't even managed to look up his stats. This is really embarrassing. I'm so sorry, but I don't know much about him. I just know his name, and that's about it. I don't even know who he plays for. That's how bad it is.
Okay. All right. Well, then I'll take it from there. So he's 23 years old. Last season, if you look at it, he got 17 goals, 10 assists for Inter as they won the league. And he played then during the Copa America. He got 3 goals in 6 games during the Copa America tournament as well. He is, I wouldn't say he's prolific in terms of goal scoring if you look at his career. However, he has all the potential in the world. And with the right players feeding him in the right system, he could get you 25 goals a season easily. He is fantastic. He's big money. That's going to be the only thing. As Gary says, no way another Martinez comes to Arsenal. I think Arsenal burn that bridge next. Do you know what? I would absolutely love Lautaro Martinez. Barcelona were linked with him last season. They really wanted him because Messi wanted him. You know, that was the big thing. Messi wanted him to come in. And they didn't go for him because he was going to cost sort of 70, 80 million. He's not going to be far off that. You know, you're probably talking 60 to 70 million. However, we do have someone that Inter want, and that is Hector Bellerin. So there's potential there. You know, you could throw Bellerin in, and you know that would knock probably 500,000 off his price for what Bellerin's worth. No, in all seriousness,
I know how you feel about him.
Yeah, do you know what? In all seriousness, though, you know, if you offered 50 million plus Bellerin for Martinez, that would be brilliant. But again, you know, Inter have just won the league. They've got Champions League football next season. Is he going to want to give up playing in the Champions League with Inter and potentially winning another Serie A title with Inter to come and play for Arsenal, who finished in 8th and have no European football? It would be amazing. Kevin there, dream transfer, but just can't see it ever happening. 37 goals in 100 games for Inter, 14 from 29 for Argentina. Yeah, I mean, as I say, it's not prolific. You know, you can't sort of say that's prolific. It is. The Argentina one's good. You know, it's 1 every 2 games, and 1 sort of every 3 games for Inter, which is still very, very good return. But I think he could get you a lot more. That's the thing. I do genuinely think Hector Bellerin for 500k, Stephen. You mean Arsenal has to pay that much to see him go? Absolutely. Bins are collected once a week. So yeah, I mean, for you guys watching, Martinez from Inter, is he someone you'd want to see in an Arsenal shirt? The other thing I would say about this is, again, we've gone from Tammy Abrahams last week to Lautaro Martinez this week. It just goes to show nobody has a clue who we're really looking at. You know, because they're complete polar opposites in terms of players. So I hate sort of knocking it because our whole show at the minute is built on these rumours, and we're talking about it and discussing it, and you guys are loving getting involved in it. But it's all just rumour, and you know, come the end of the summer, none of these players could be signing. You know, it could be the chances are the players we sign have not even been linked to us yet. You know, we hadn't heard of Tavares or Lukongu, Sambi, you know, before those deals were practically done. So yeah, Andy saying there, that's the Arsenal way. Smoke screens, love it, absolutely. Chris, I read this one with Jordan Henderson rumor a few days ago. It's Fantasyland stuff that's never going to happen. Actually, yeah, that's one I forgot was Jordan Henderson. I mean, how would you feel about taking Henderson?
No, just no. Don't want him. Don't like after what he did to DCL. I dislike him even more. No, I don't want him. And a lot of people will disagree with me on that. I think it might have been Chris that I had a conversation with. I'm not remember. I apologise if I'm wrong, Chris. But no, I don't want him. at all.
Okay.
He's injury prone as well. So no, thank you.
What did he do to DCL?
Basically, we got a penalty, and Henderson pulled rank in an England game, and he shouldn't have. Because he hadn't played for not even 6 games before he was called up for England. And he decided to take the penalty and he missed. So
I thought you were going to tell me he was responsible for that white suit.
Oh no! Don't. Those shoes are awful.
If anybody hasn't seen that, look up have a search for Calvert-Lewin's white suit that he was wearing on holiday, or his blue shorts. He looked like a drag queen in those blue shorts. Anyway, Keith, a goal every 3 games in Serie A is a good return, albeit in a very good team. I'd take him. Don't see it happening though. I hear Kerry Dixon is available, and we've shown interest to his agent. The Arsenal transfer media circus is alive. It keeps us entertained. But versus Brentford, it's ESR, Party, and Xhaka. Don't.
No, we're not Xhaka. We're going to put Sambi in there. Leave Xhaka on the bench.
Don't ruin my good mood this week. Looking forward to getting linked to Mario Balotelli next week. We're not going to because he's just signed for a team in Turkey, I believe. So he has signed a 3-year deal for a team recently. No to Jordan Henderson. It's got to insert name here is linked with a summer move to Arsenal. Personal terms agree. It's a different player every day right now. It is. And I love the drama. You know, I've said it before. This is like my EastEnders or, you know, whatever other soap opera people watch. For you, Chris, it's a bit like wrestling. You know, it's a new storyline every week. And then he missed a penalty. Okay. Question is it Ben White Wednesday tomorrow?
And the new kit. I think she's on the money with that. I saw one of her tweets earlier. New kit and Ben White tomorrow. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, hopefully. We'll come back to that when we sec. Get out of my pub. What pub do you drink in, Andy?
That's Peggy Mitchell's line in EastEnders.
I know. I'm only asking that because I know I recognise Andy's name from Twitter, and I've spoken to him a couple of times, and he's actually from the same town I am.
Cool.
So yeah, small world. Jenny Watts, know it well. We'll have to meet for a drink some night, Andy. Okay, just back to the kit launch. I put out a tweet earlier on. What do you make of the new third kit?
I love it. I think it's gorgeous. I mean, I like it's got that sort of the lightning theme bolt of the 98 blue kit. I think it's 98. It was before my time, but I love that. I'm still hunting down one of those shirts myself at the moment. But yeah, I think it's beautiful. It looks better on than it does on the hanger. I will say that.
Yeah, do you know what? I said it to someone earlier on. It's a bit like, have you ever heard of the movie Plan 9 from Outer Space?
I think so. Rings a bell.
Okay, so it was a movie from back in like the 50s starring Ed Wood and Bela Lugosi. And if you know your movie history, Bela Lugosi was the first person to ever play Dracula. So it starred these two people, and it was potentially the worst movie ever made in history. But it was such a bad movie that it was good.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of how I feel about this new third kit, looking at it. It's so bad, it's good.
I think you said to me when I first saw that you posted like an image of it that someone had tweeted from Q8 or somewhere. You said it looked like a fuzzy TV or something to that effect.
Yeah, it looked like the TV was
I was killing myself laughing. You was right, but I still think it's beautiful. Think it's beautiful.
As I say, for
me,
it's
not as bad as the Tottenham kit though. Let's get that straight. That is awful. They nicked that design off TFL.
Nothing's as bad as the Tottenham kit ever. But yeah, no, for me it's so bad it's good. And as I say, I have the away kit, and I've been told I'm allowed to buy another one, because the kids got their away kits, as you might have seen on Twitter. I put up the pictures yesterday. So I like the home kit's growing on me, but I don't like the blue in the shoulders. So I might go for the third one. I don't know. So, all right, a couple more comments. Let's see where we've got to. Mike, evening, Mike. A lot of Troy Deeney still has no cojones. Couldn't even beat Stephen and Jenna.
This is what I like to hear, Mike. It's what I like to hear. I'm not looking forward to him coming back up this year. Oh, I hate him. Just as much as I hate Spurs.
Anyone wanting a laugh with Bellerin should watch when he was at the F1 race and nobody knew who he was. It's funny when he's called a hipster by one of the commentators.
I remember seeing that. I was watching F1 that day. That was so funny.
G saying it's beautiful. I'm assuming you're referring to the third kit and not me. Mike, the third kit is still better than Tottenham's. Third kit has always been the one I buy. I think that's the shirt where the designers just go free without having to keep to a certain look. Yeah, potentially it is. Everything Arsenal is better than that team. Absolutely.
Oh, I just calls them the 2-bob mob. 2 bobs worth nothing anymore. So 2
My
bob
torn pants are better than Spurs. The yellow away kit is a winner. To be fair, I feel very bad for Son. He's an incredible player, deserves so much better. Do you know what? When I was in Drayton Manor the other day, there was a fella, and I would say early 20s, walking around, full yellow Spurs away kit, socks, shorts, top, whole works, with Son and the number 7 on the back. And I had to explain to my wife that that was the player's name and not that the fella's mum had bought him the kit. So yeah, Antonio's not on tonight, and I have a story just with all these Spurs comments. I was going to say I'll tell him that because I'm sure Antonio will watch this back. The story, remember the one I was telling you the other night about what Josh said to me about Spurs? So for anybody who doesn't know, Josh is my 6-year-old son, and he's been going on at me about wanting Cannon Chatter merch and t-shirts and stuff. And then the other night he decided that he's going to start his own football channel. And this is because I was trying to explain to him that it's okay for his friends to support other teams. It doesn't mean he can't be friends with them. It's all a bit of fun. So he was telling me, he goes, Daddy, I'm going to have my own football channel. I'm going to call it Football Goals. And all my friends can come on it, even if they support other teams. But not Spurs, because nobody likes Spurs.
Do you know what? I love kids when they're that small. They're just brutally honest. They say what they think. I love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it.
Out of the mouth of babes. So I was so proud of him. I choked up a little. It was such a nice moment. The fact was, he said this out in the middle of the garden area at Drayton Manor, so there was lots of other kids and adults playing about who could quite clearly hear this. Josh has it nailed. Absolutely. That's so cute. He knows the facts. He does. Brought up right. They're brought up right. Son video on Twitter was so funny. He looked like a kid on first day of school after the best holiday. Absolutely. Well, listen, that's all the transfer rumours. So we will take a quick break, and then if you fire in any questions, we said we'd do a quick question and answer. So if anybody has any questions that they want to ask me and Lottie about Arsenal, about the upcoming season, about players, or even anything you want to know about us, fire it in, and we'll spend a few minutes. We'll answer a few questions, and yeah, we'll have a bit of fun that way. Let me just find this other video. And Lottie's disappeared. All right, still there.
I just had to move a bit.
It's all right. I can hear you giggling in the background. Talking about shirts, I was going to once get our shaving on the back of it, and Kirsten told me there was no way she was walking around with me wearing a shirt with arse shaving on the back. Brilliant, Chris.
Brilliant.
Lottie, you looking forward to Sunday? Should be a good game, that one.
Do you know what, Mike? I am so excited. I mean, to see Arsenal-Chelsea for £30, I can't complain. The money's going to Mind. Unfortunately, I couldn't get any club end tickets, so I am up in the North Bank for a change, which should be very interesting. Can't wait to go home. Really, really excited. Is anybody else actually in the comments going or watching it at all?
We'll see what anybody says. Martin Walker, okay guys, it was a pleasure, loved it, and looking forward to the next stream. Love you both, come on you Gunners, and have a good night. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you again soon.
Good night, Martin.
Easy J, was it your view on Tammy being linked, but 40 million? What is your view on Tammy being linked, but for 40 million?
I really don't want anything out of the Chelsea clearance shop. Thank you very much, Jay. That is my comment.
All right.
Good night, Gary.
Let's go to Twitter. I have a comment from Jamie Gillen. Who's going to score in the Premier League first? Partey or Holding? Who's going to score the first goal? Partey or Holding?
I'm going to have to go with Rob Holding. The way that Partey shoots has got to be Rob Holding.
Oh dear.
Who do you think, Stephen?
Do you know what? I'm going to say Partey. I think he's been working on his shooting over the summer.
He's got better. He got better. I will say that, but he needs to actually get it in the net. I think did he have off the last end of the season? He had it off the crossbar. It just needed to be like a couple of inches down. That would have gone straight through to the net. I was kind of annoyed.
One for you, Lolly, there from Kevin. Did Lolly ever go to Highbury?
Yeah, I did. My first game was when I was like 8 years old. 8 years old, I was there. Nope, not at all. I've got the tickets somewhere. I will dig out my program and my paper tickets. I remember going in, and I believe we were seeing the clock end because I remember seeing the clock.
Okay. One from Scott. I'm not sure if Scott's still with us at the minute, but he did drop one onto Twitter earlier on. Scott Borg. If you're not following, it's at SM_Borg. If Ainsley Maitland-Niles was to stay, do you think he could or would be the preferred right back, assuming no signings? If not, who starts at right back against Brentford?
If he will play right back, as we said earlier, then yeah, he could have that role for a lifetime. But he doesn't want to play there. That's the problem. And if you don't have the versatility to give, you need to listen to what the coaches and the managers are telling you. You need to play where you're told. In my opinion, as for starting against Brentford, I'd rather put Calvin Chambers there, to be honest.
Calvin Chambers, right? Okay. Mike's saying the same thing. I'm going to be honest. I like Cedric. So if it was for me, I'd be saying put Cedric there personally. That's my own opinion. Okay. Sorry. Another one then from Twitter, Chris, who WCWF World Championship Wrestling Federation, Chris Bullard. If anybody's not following Chris, go and follow Chris on Twitter now. Chris's handle is at Chris_Bullard01. And Chris, as well as obviously being with us on these shows, as someone who comments every week, does some graphics for us for Twitter as well. So make sure and go and follow him. Chris asked, after all countless rumours of players joining, how would you feel if we only added Ben White to the two we've already signed?
I'd be annoyed. I mean, the signings are great, but we've got so much repairing to do within what we've got selling to do. I'd be really annoyed. I don't want all this deadwood that's still there. I mean, like the likes of William, the likes of Xhaka, they're all deadwood. Need to go. It's time to move on.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm the same. I'm concerned at the lack of outgoings. As I said, I do think it'll start to heat up over the next week or two. But if we only had Ben White plus the two others, for me, it's not good enough. And Eddie would have to go. His job is to get these players in and out. So for me, yeah, absolutely would have to go.
No, definitely. I understand that. Sorry, Stephen, it will take 3 full windows to fully sort ourselves out. I think, like Christmas and next summer, but we need to address the main issues now, if anything, and we all know what they are. Yeah,
absolutely. All right, another one then. Keith at mostly Arsenal, who I'm sure you all know because he's may still be in the chat, hopefully, and is a regular on the show. At the Mad Ramblings 1, I think it is. Predictions for Arsenal league position in May. So where do you think we're going to finish the season?
I'm going to go with our favourite spot. I'm going to go with 4th. Maybe 3rd.
Really?
It depends on, if I'm honestly, if I'm really honest, it depends what the window brings at the end, and then I can decide. But at this point, 3rd, 4th, at least.
Okay.
And an FA Cup under our belts as well, of course.
That is confidence for you.
What do you think, Stephen? You don't sound like you echo the same thoughts as me at this point.
Do you know what? Sorry, I'm just checking through. That's all it was from Twitter. I think based on the team as it is now, if we don't add anybody else, we'll be lucky to get top 6. If we can add potentially 2 or 3 players of the right quality and for the right positions, and Arteta gets them playing the way he wants them to play, then yeah, we could potentially get top 4. I still think it's a slight stretch, but we'll not have as good an opportunity again because obviously we don't have European football. And I think that's a big thing. You know, we're only going to be playing at the weekends. You know, there's not going to be that many midweek games and stuff, which is going to give Arteta more time to train with the players during the week. You know, if you look at last season, we had a game at the weekend, then they would have had a day off, then they had maybe a day training, and then probably travelling later on that day. Maybe a little bit of light training on the Wednesday, game on the Thursday, day off Friday, as well as travelling, little bit of light training on the Saturday, game on the Sunday. You know, and that was quite the way for not only for Europe, but because the games were a lot more crammed into the season because the season started late and it needed to be finished up in May. So we're not going to have that situation this season. So he's going to have time during the week to work with the players. You know, they're going to be able to get their time off, be rested. There's going to be no excuse. So it may work to our advantage. The disadvantage is, as we said before, we're not going to be able to attract the same level of player. And I know, you know, there's that thing that Raul Sanllehi said of, you know, when Arsenal knock, it's a different knock. But without Europe, it's a little bit quieter, that knock. So, all right, let's a couple more comments here. There we go. Chris, we covered that off. Worst fans at the moment, Villa, Man United or Spurs?
I don't mean to be funny. It always will be Man United. We live in their heads rent free. I know Spurs talk rubbish about us, but they're the worst. Not all of them, certain sections of them, I should say.
Yeah.
Just
so
like
it's as I said at the start. We've got to look up the table and look at the teams above us, not worry about the teams below us. Exactly. United are continually looking down, trying to find what we're doing and trying to compare everything we do to what they're doing. And it's laughable. So, yeah, United, as long as it's not Bellerin, I don't mind that much. I'd rather either view it right back over than Bellerin.
I used to play right back. I can put the shirt on if you want, Mike. I used to be a right back myself. I ain't got the speed no more, though. I will say that.
Gee, sorry if you've mentioned this, but Willock out to Monaco seems to be gaining. Yeah, I mean, I read that earlier on today as well, but I kind of took it with a pinch of salt. I don't know what's happening with that one, and I already had everything sort of queued up for tonight. I mean, what do you think, Willock to Monaco?
Do you know what? I still think we should just get rid of him for 30 mil to Newcastle, personally. I don't know. I haven't seen that one, but what was the price that he was linked with? Do you know?
I don't know. I think it's probably sort of been around sort of 20 to 25. I think.
Okay, if Newcastle are off in 30, Newcastle. Sorry, Monaco.
If he's not going to play,
Hmm.
it's as I keep saying, let's not be sentimental. Let's use Hale into its full potential and sell players to make money to strengthen the first 11. So if he's not going to play, I really don't care that much where he goes. Yeah, he did well at Newcastle. I don't really care if he goes back to Newcastle. Don't care if he goes to Monaco, but let's just get him out, get the money in. No more loan deals. What about the Max Aarons rumour also?
Stephen, I'll leave this one to you because I know you're a fanboy.
I am, absolutely. Max Aarons is the one for me. I've said it all along. I've been saying it since last summer and before, to be honest. I actually thought we would sign him last summer. I thought we'd let Bellerin go, and I thought we'd sign Max Aarons. So yeah, if there's any way we can get rid of Bellerin and get Max Aarons in, I'm all for it. All for it. I think that boy's ceiling is so high. And I know there's a lot of people out there don't overly rate him, but having watched a lot of him, and I did make a point of watching a lot of Norwich games last season, and it wasn't to watch Buendia, it was to watch Max Aarons. He has so much potential. He really does. If Ben White is the final signing, Eddie needs to hand in his resignation. Absolutely. Mike saying he thinks Europa. 6th. Okay. Keith going for 3rd. Wow. Confident. One leaves, one stays. Xhaka or Bellerin. Oh, no. Oh, Lolly, you can go first.
Bye, Xhaka. See you later. Bye-bye. I'd rather keep Bellerin. I'm sorry. I know that them two players are... no. Yeah, no, Xhaka's got to go. Xhaka's got to go. Chris, how could you do this to me?
Yeah, Chris. How? That's an awful. That is an awful question. An awful question. Get rid of Bellerin.
Really?
Yeah.
Why? I'm in shock. I really thought you were going to pick Xhaka.
No, I get rid of Bellerin first.
Okay.
I don't like Xhaka, and you know that. I make no secret of it.
I know you don't like either of them. I know you don't like either of them. That's why I was surprised at the choices Chris did. So, and I've got personal issues with Bellerin. So,
for me, you build a team from the back, and you look at what George Graham did. He sorted out the defense.
Yeah. When
Wenger first came in, it was the defense. He had that solid defense, that back four of Tony Adams, Bold, Keown, Winterburn, and Dixon. I know that's 5, but you know what I mean. And it was always built on that foundation of having a good, strong defense. Bellerin is a weak link. He really is. We've said this time and time again. He never lived up to the potential. Another one that didn't live up to the potential. He ended Debussy's career when he came in, but he never went on to that next level. He got the ACL injury, and for me, he's just. It's not that he's not been the same player. He's hit his peak. He's hit his ceiling, and he needs to go. He's not good enough. He leaves the defense exposed. He bombs down the wing and does nothing. And there's a lot of people who give him credit for the winning goal in the FA Cup against Chelsea. They're saying, he made that wonderful run. But in actual fact, if you look at what happened, he made the run and got tackled and lost the ball. It was actually that tackle that got the ball to Pepe for the cross. It wasn't Bellerin passing it. Yeah. So, even those things that you try to give him credit for, he doesn't actually deserve the credit. So for me, I'd get rid of Bellerin.
Yeah, no, again, I think with a lot of the fan base, it's sentiment FC with some of these guys.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Yeah. Okay. Mike, I hope I'm wrong, but for now I'd say Europa League places. Keith, I'm always ridiculously optimistic at this time of year and fewer distractions. Chris, for me, it will depend on those first 6 games. I'm going to say 6th or 7th, but it does depend on what players are in the squad. I still can't see Norwich selling their 2 best players in the same window. That's got relegation written all over it. And a smiley face. Yeah, okay. All right, there's no sort of more comments there at the minute. Do you want to tell us about fantasy football?
Yeah, no. So we've been talking about having our own league for a while now. We have now got 50 plus people in there, and finally, I will say this: it's not just me and Georgina in there anymore. We've got the likes of Nikki. We've got Molly that's joined us. So, ladies, if you're watching, please come and join us. We're outnumbered. We need to show the boys how this is done. If you if you want to join it, look it up on fantasy.premierleague.com. You can join through the website, or you can download the Premier League app on your Android or iPhone. All you need to do is create a team first, pick your 15 players, and then join the league. If you're having any problems, drop me a DM and I'll send you the automatic link that will let you straight in, like I did for Weezy J. It's literally me sending you a link. You click on it and it'll let you straight in. I am closing this midday on the 30th of August, just so that it's fair for everybody, because we will be giving prizes out at Christmas and at the end of the season for the winner. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to playing this year. And I think I've got a couple of shows coming up, all to do with fantasy football, because I've never played before, and I'm sure there's a few of us out that haven't played before. So I'll probably be running the rules and what it's all about.
Yeah, I know. Obviously, you have a busy week this week on work, so we'll not do it this week, but maybe potentially next week, maybe next Wednesday or Thursday.
Yeah,
we could do a bit of a lottie show and talk about this, and join in, guys, and we'll have a bit of a chat about which players look to be a good option and good prices and stuff like that as well.
Definitely.
But yeah, join in. I'm working on some prizes, and hopefully we'll make the announcement hopefully next week as to what the prize will be for the winner. And we will do some spot prizes and stuff during the season with it.
And also remember, sorry, Stephen, and remember, this is all for fun. It's not serious competition. It's all fun.
Absolutely. Make sure and hit that like button if you haven't already. Okay. Do you want to talk about the sub challenge?
Yes. We've also got a sub challenge going on at the moment. If we get to 500 by the 13th of August, my wonderful Stephen, sitting next to me on screen, is going to bleach his hair M&M blonde. And at the moment, what are we sitting on, Stephen?
Just going to check now quickly. Bear with me. $245.
245.
So guys,
yeah, we're almost halfway there. But guys, please, if you can, like, share, get friends, families following us, because I really want to see Stephen go blood, and I'm definitely I think G would agree with me. We need to make this happen. But me and G wanted to get involved with this challenge as well. If we get to 1,000 by the 31st of December this year, G is going to bleach his hair blonde as well, and he's going to do the beard and the tash as well. But if we get to 2,000 by the start of next season, I will be getting a tattoo of Stephen and G's choice. But the three designs will be put out to vote, so you guys get to choose.
And as always, my disclaimer on that is to Lottie's mum, if she's still watching, it wasn't my idea.
Don't. I'm going to get a death stare after this. You got me. You know what? I was in the comments last week, and literally every single pillow in the living room, it had been thrown at me during that show. I did have fun though.
All right. Another quick question there. Chris, who likes to destroy our minds right now. Man City have offered 150 million. You have to agree to one leaving. Smith Rowe or Saka?
You're going first. No. You're going first.
Smith Rowe.
I'm not answering this.
Smith Rowe.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong. I love Smith Rowe, and I think his ceiling is so high.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, he's more replaceable than Saka.
Oh, God, how do I answer this? Keith, you're going to hate me, but it's got to be Smith Rowe. I can't sell my star boy. I just can't do it. I can't do it. Keith, I'm sorry. He's got to go.
AFC pressure, don't do that to them. I agree, Chris. Stop doing this to us. Kevin, good show, guys. Thank you. Fantasy football is always serious if you're competitive. Yeah.
Nah.
All right.
Pinch yourself.
Okay. We're kind of been on quite a while. We weren't expecting to be on this long tonight. So,
no, definitely.
Anybody, any last questions? Drop them in the chat now. Lottie, do me the honor of running through the socials, please.
Okay. You can come and find us on Facebook, Can and Chatter. If you want to follow us on Instagram, it's can_chatter.
Sorry.
It's okay, no worries. Again, we're all on Twitter. We've got a main account at Can Chatter. Or if you want to follow Stephen, it's SB Can Chatter. Or if you want to follow G, who's not here tonight, it's G Talks Arsenal. Or if you want to follow me on Twitter, it's Lottie with 2 I's _B, because somebody beat me to it on the first name. Also, I've currently got 2 new blog posts on my blog. I'm doing a mini series on our new signings. So if you don't know too much about Tavares or Sambi, please definitely go and have a look. A very good read. I've had great feedback so far. And if you want to go and have a read of that, it's lottieafc.blogspot.co.uk. And make sure you subscribe, turn on the notifications, and hit that like button.
Brilliant, thank you. Thank you to everybody who's watched live and joined in the conversation the whole way through. It's been amazing as always. And we love doing this and having these chats with you. We will be back next Monday night, I'm sure, with another Rumour Mill, and then, as I say, potentially later in the week, then we'll do a Lottie show and we'll do a bit of fantasy football stuff on that one. And then it'll not be long till we start into the new season. So a couple of things lined up, and we'll let you all know about those as soon as we have a few more details. No words for you two.
Keith,
sorry, Keith.
I'm so sorry. Chris, this is all your fault.
Yeah, sorry. It is what it is.
You know what? I feel worse because I've got my Smith Rowe shirt on. That makes it worse.
Only joking. Great show as always. Much love. Thank you, Keith. All right. Well, listen, as I say, thank you to everybody who's watched. And if you're watching this later, thank you for watching. Make sure and drop a like on the video. And if you haven't, make sure and subscribe. We want to keep pushing out this content and getting more and more people involved. And it's great to see so many new faces coming through on the chats as well. Lottie, any last words before we go?
No, but just thank you and have a good evening, everybody. Or good morning or good afternoon, wherever you are in the world.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys, and I will talk to you all again soon. Good night.